Alright, Shalom Aki. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem or Kakwadash. Yahweh is who the world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is his son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And there's no God beside them. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for being faithful witnesses to the Holy Spirit. And Shalom to the elect, whom the Most High given ears to hear. And just came across this article entitled WHO, which the WHO is actually an acronym for the World Health Organization. States sex education starts from birth. UN, or the United Nations, seeks to decriminalize sex with minors. Alright, so this is the time we're in. Alright. Whereas in the scriptures say how that beast will speak great things. Alright, and they will prevail. However, call hello to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai that there's going to come a time when Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, alright, after that he have sealed his elect through preaching, alright, through the men out there going to preach, there's going to come a time where he's going to stop this devil in his tracks. Alright, he's already intended to do which you're going to grab particular, as it says in Revelation 13, which is basically a reiteration of Daniel 7, how the devil would come, alright, this fourth beast. Alright, the fourth beast is Rome, coming back as America. Alright, and under Rome, or under America, you will have the 7 heads and 10 horns. Alright, that would, as the scriptures also say, that horror sitteth upon the beast. Alright, and it would come and speak great things. Alright, and we're entering into what's known as a new world order. Alright, a new world order, which is nothing more than lawlessness, alright, the Xing out of righteousness and the implementation of wickedness. Alright, that's what's known as the image of the beast. Alright, the likeness of this man's mind. Alright, his wickedness. So it says, this is disgusting. All those conspiracies now validated and printed in black and white, those sick bastards. If any global threat to humanity and the social fabric of society was going to get a response from the willfully blind, surely this is it. And as it is written in Psalms 94 and 16, who shall stand up for me against the evildoers? The only one that's going to stand up against the wickedness, alright, until the very end, is us. The ones who believe that righteousness is going to come. Alright, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, as he promised to come and save us. Alright, let me grab this one. This is the book of Daniel's chapter 7 verse 8. 7 verse 7. After this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. And it had great iron teeth. Alright, going into the Roman Empire, how strong their army was, just like America. It devoured and brake in pieces and stamped the residue with the feet of it. And it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. Alright, because Rome had a senate all right, that brought forth the next president, whereas the other beast, you know, it was normally through a succession or a lineage. And it had 10 horns, all right, which today will be known as NATO. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. All right, now this is speaking about the spawning of America through one of the horns, which is Britain. All right, and then America came and shot down Britain. All right, when you can read in Revelation 17 how the 7th came off the 8th. All right, which America came and, you know, took out Britain, Spain, and France, the 3 horns. I meant the before whom were 3 of the first horns plucked. Yep, Britain, Spain, and France was taken out by America. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire, which is talking about Yahweh. The Ancient of Days is Yahweh. A fiery stream issued and came forth from him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were open. Okay? The judgment was set, and the books were open. The judgment being the destruction of the wicked was set. And if the destruction of the wicked was set, his actions would have also been set. You see, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, everything he's doing is written in the scriptures. All right, as we just read, you know, he's coming speaking great things because he has the power to do so. It's in his hand. All right, and that's the devil. Okay, as it is broken down in 1 Thessalonians, how he will come after the working of Satan. All right, and oppose and exalt himself above all that is called God. We see that to this day. You know, these policies are being brought forth as a you know, the signs, if you will, all right, leading to the New World Order. All right, or these are all stepping stones leading to the New World Order. All right, the judgment was set and the books were open, and as his actions are being taken place, the prophets are reporting live, so to speak. All right, the prophets are reporting live of what he's doing. All right, as it is written, I will destroy him with the spirit of my mouth, and then by the brightness of his coming. See, eventually, the Lord, which is the only one that can physically take this man down, all right, or these men, all right, because Esau Edom is not just ruling over here in America, he's ruling all these UN nations, Russia, which is not a part of the EU or anything like that, all right, but all these nations, all right, that's bringing forth death upon the world, that's pushing forth death on the people, he's ruling. All right, so it says, and the books were open, I beheld, then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. My bad, let me see, do something quick. Which the horn spake, I beheld, even to the beast was slain, and his body destroyed, and giving to the burning flame. All right, so the judgment, or the end, his judgment will be that he will be destroyed. All right, So we just sit back, we report, and we wait for the Lord to come and burn this bitch. Alright? And as is written up in Revelation 17, alright, Revelations 9, see, World War III will happen, and the end thereof will be nuclear missiles. Alright? As the spirit of Sodom and Gomorrah is pushed on the world. And what happened at the end of Sodom and Gomorrah, which in Sodom and Gomorrah, it wasn't just, homosexuality, it was pedophilia, it was all types of, it was bestiality, it was all types of wickedness going on. And does not the scripture say, let's grab this in Jude chapter 1, verse 7. Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication, and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire. Alright? So we can rest assured that this place is on the highway to hell. I forgot who made that song. Alright? But with all these legislations and, this wickedness taking place, you can rest assured that World War III will happen. You cannot pray for this place, especially when all this wickedness is happening. Alright? The judgment was set, and the beast shall be slain. Okay? This is disgusting. All those conspiracies now validated and printed in black and white. Okay, I read that already. Acknowledging this for exactly what it is, the push to legalize pedophilia. There is no excuse for the WHO or UN to wiggle out of this being a misunderstanding or out of text. Quoting from Zero Hedge, the 68-page report titled Standards for Sexuality Education in Europe also calls for supplying information to toddlers about enjoying and pleasure when touching one's own body, early childhood masturbation. The policy paper also states that kids between 4 and 6 years should talk about sexual matters and consolidate their gender identity. The document also asserts that sexuality is present from birth, claiming from birth, babies learn the value and pleasures of bodily contact, warmth, and intimacy. Soon after that, they learn what is clear, what is clean, and what is dirty. Adding, in other words, they are engaging in sexuality education. All right, and let me grab this. All right, because the mindset of the devil is warped. The scriptures speak about a forward man, a perverse man, and that's definitely who he is. This is Deuteronomy 32 and 32. For their vine is of the vine of Sodom, and of the fields of Gomorrah. Their grapes are grapes of gall, and their clusters are bitter. Their wine is the poison of dragons, and the cruel venom of asps. Okay? So, the makeup of this devil, alright, and how he will push, and what he will push upon the world, like when you go into the time of the Greeks, alright, you had what? Athenian boy lovers, to the Romans. You had something known as, which they call it today Christmas, but in the ancient times it was known as Saturnalia, where they would get together and do homosexual acts. And they're doing the same thing today. And yeah. It is also written how he's full of the sins of his youth. You see, I gotta keep harping on that scripture, Daniel 7:9. But the judgment is set. You see, the devil will continue to do things hateful to the Lord, so the Lord can continue to destroy him. You know, which is beautiful, so we can come back in rulership. All right, and when we come back in the rulership, things will be set right side up, whereas today things are set upside down. All right, the scriptures say, "Woe unto him that calleth evil good and good evil." That's an evil thing. All right, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai already set everything to where, you know, it would be matured, so to speak, before it can partake in particular things. You know, sexuality is meant to for a mature individual. All right, that's why, you know, in the scriptures, a woman would normally have to have the flower of her age. Oh, it's like it. A woman would have to have the flower of her age before she can participate, all right, in any sexual intercourse. Why? Because the flower of her age represented maturity. All right. Because sex, you see, sex is meant to reproduce, for reproduction. Okay, but leave it up to this devil. You know, he wants to have it with little kids, which this is something that this devil's always been doing. All right, it's just now that he's pushing it on the world. All right, because we're in that time to where he's pushing the image off on the people, and it's going to come a time to where if you come up against this, you should be put to death. All right, physically, as well as, you know, them calling you a Terry or something like that for not going along with that wickedness. It says the policy paper also states that kids between 4 and 6 years should talk about sexual matters. All right, which when you that age, you ain't thinking about that. Come on, bro. You don't even know what that is. The document also asserts that sexuality is present from birth. I read that. It's a lot. The World Health Organization told reporters that our guidelines reflect established psychological facts based on decades of research. What fucking psychological facts? This is fucking devil, man. Covering the issue, GB News reporter Mark Dolan called the development sick and urged that the World Health Organization go to hell. All right, and that's exactly where all these devils gonna go. All right, they're gonna go into slavery. But before that, the Most High is gonna take them out through His Son Yahweh Shai. Note, the original link to the report didn't work. I tried several labs of the UNESCO site, but it looks like it has been scrubbed. I found a preserved link. Yada yada yada. Okay, jumping down. All right. So as you see, this is the, I guess, the pamphlet, the World Health Organization Regional Office for Europe and BZGA. You know, and that's why, you know, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai ain't nothing to play with. You know, He can create an evil such as this. All right, because the Most High does create evil. All right, because of our iniquities. But soon enough, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Yahweh is going to send His Son back, Yahweh Shai, to rectify. He's going to right all the wrongs. Whereas He's doing now through the Spirit. All right, as I mentioned before, how He destroyed them with the spirit of His mouth. He's destroying them with the spirit of His prophets. But before the prophets can go out and bring out this word to bring down this devil, they will have to have God right. The spirit of Yahweh Shai would have had to enter into them. All right. And being that that spirit has entered into us, like it says in Revelation 11, now the nations, they're, where does that scripture say? Great fear fell upon them. That's what it was. Revelation 11:11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Now, if great fear is falling upon these devils from what we speak, how much more when what we speak comes to pass? Which we speak of Yahweh Shai coming back and putting a foot in his ass. You know, we speak of them chariots coming back and zapping the wicked. All right. So Esau got a lot of pain in his future, and it's only right as he's pushing, pain upon the people. So as you see, part 1, see, I don't know if brothers could read that. It's kind of small. You see 1.1, historical context of sexual education in schools. Sexuality, sexual health, and sexuality education. Rationale for sexual education. Part 2. So I ain't gonna read the whole thing. Shit's vexation, you know. Nevertheless, we have to bring it out. It says on page 13 under a section entitled Sexuality Education in Schools, as a response of societies to these social changes. In addition, sexual abuse scandals gave sexuality education a strong boost in the public sphere and led to calls for sexuality education for younger children. This call has been supported by a change in the perception of the child in general, now perceived as a subject. What did I just read? Sexual abuse scandals gave a boost to sex education for younger children. At first sounds as if there is a need to protect the children by raising awareness of abuse, then bizarrely refers to a child as a subject. They give the definition of the subject below. The child is thus understood to be an independent person with specific competencies and needs. Inter alia in respect of his or her forms of expression of closeness, sensuality, and bodily curiosity. The potential of the child needs to be adequately fostered. The child is thus understood to be an independent person with specific competencies and needs. And let me add this, man. You know, we are slaves. This proves that we're slaves because there's a quote that goes like, responsibility without authority is slavery. So you have a responsibility to go to work, pay taxes, feed your children, clothe them, all right? But you don't have the final say so. The government does. Therefore, you are a slave. Therefore, we are slaves. And for brothers that don't have children, you don't want to have any, because this is what they succumb to. All right? The choice of words referring to a child as an independent person strikes me as sinister, more so with the last sentence on fostering potential. Motivated, trained, and supported, the trend in Europe as a whole over recent decades has been to make sexuality education mandatory without opting out clauses that allow parents to withdraw their children from classes if they have serious objections to the curriculum content. In actual practice, parents are often supportive of sexuality education in schools because they themselves are not up to task or feel embarrassed to approach it. Look, so again, the parents can't say shit about it. Without opting out clauses that allow parents to withdraw their children from classes if they have serious objections to the curriculum content. In actual practices, parents, including those from minority populations, are often supportive of sexuality education in schools. You know, but I would imagine that's because they don't really know what the fuck's going on, and then when they find out, they pissed off. All right, now you got certain of our people that's just fucking wicked, you know. But for the most part, you know, I remember coming up in high school, whatever, grammar school, well, really high school. That's when I was talked about. But that was far as like, you know, I mean, it was that age. You know, we was at that age, so it was understandable as far as, you know, talking about sexuality and more so about STDs and, you know, just being safe. You know, but to little kids is like, what the, you know, and it's crazy. You know, this just reading this article is draining the fucking life out of me right now. It says this should raise alarm bells and drive more parents to consider homeschooling, or at least demand to see the curricula for themselves. And you know what's funny is that you pay for this wickedness to be put upon your children. If you own a home, even if you don't, your taxes are going to pay for this wickedness. And you can't say shit about it. And if you do say something about it, you'll be characterized as an unfit parent. All right, whereas that's abuse. All right, a kid that don't even know his head from his, you know, his fucking hand from his toes, you know, don't even know how to spell sexuality, that's being pushed upon him. Or at least demand to see the curricula for themselves before exposing their children to these mandatory classes. In this context, it is useful to introduce the concept of intimate citizenship, which relates to sexual rights from a social science perspective. All right, which I'll probably put this on the I'll put this in the description box. All right, if you could stomach reading this whole thing, hey, blessed are you. You know, this shit is vexing. Like I said, it's fucking draining me just reading this shit. But this is Genesis chapter 6 verse 6. And it repented the Lord that he made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will destroy man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping things and the fowls of the air, for it repented me that I have made them. Okay? Let me start at verse 5, my bad. Or Salakia. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. All right, and as it is written, you know, as the rulers are, so are the people. So this is why you got a lot of people that's so effed up, you know, sexually frustrated, you know, into all manners of wickedness because of the rulers of the people. All right, and just as the Lord, in response to that, destroyed, all right, the bulk of the people, he's going to do that to this day. All right, and the elect who has come out of the ways of this place, as it is written in Micah 2:10, will not be destroyed. This is Genesis chapter 13, verse 13. But the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord exceedingly. All right, and just as the devil speaks great things, all right, speaks pompous things, all right, that's a smoke in the Lord's ears. Whereas the people, they declare their sins as Sodom. You know, this is something that they push on the people, and it's exceedingly aggravating the Lord. Okay, this is Nahum chapter 1 verse 3. The Lord is slow to anger All right, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah has to let all these prophecies play out. And this wickedness, you see, that's why, you know, I always say how World War III is in tandem, or it is running parallel with the MOTB. Because as we wait for the MOTB to be pushed, which is the mark of the beast, or which otherwise in this world would be known as the RFID chip, is to be pushed upon the whole world, this wickedness is going to continue. All right, and it's going to come it's going to come at a point in time. All right, it's going to come at a point in time. All right, where at that same time, prior to Esau implementing his MOTB on the whole world, all right, and having everybody chipped, that he's going to come back. And at the same time of him coming back, he's going to come back in the midst of World War III, all right, and destroy this place. And this is why. The Lord is slow to anger, great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. He's not going to let you go. The Lord have his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. He rebuketh the sea and maketh it dry, and drieth up all the rivers. Bashan languisheth, Carmel and the flower of Lebanon languisheth. The mountains quake at him, and the hills melt. The earth is burned at his presence, yea, the world and all that dwell therein. And this devil can speak great things. He can speak great things now because the Lord is not here. The men of the Lord don't have power as of yet. But when the judgment is set, all right, you're going to be, as we just read, you're going to melt, you know. The earth is burnt at his presence, yea, the world and all that dwell therein. Does not it say in Amos 3, the Lord hath spoken, who can but fear? All right, and these devils fear to a certain extent. That's why they keep taking brothers' pages down. All right, but when that other power is in front of your face, man, you know, like when you watch the Dragon Ball Z sagas, you know, a lot of times before they got to the battlefield, or, you know, before they went to go fight off the enemy, they can feel his presence. Or they can feel that power and they get scared, like, oh, I never felt the power this strong before. The power that the Lord is coming with. You know, even the angels tremble at Yahweh, while Yahweh Shai, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. What's these angels, all right, as the scriptures say, one angel could destroy the earth. So if even the angels that can destroy the earth, that these devils are afraid of when they, you know, see the UAPs, as we know as the chariots of the Lord, if you afraid of them, how much more the Lord? Who can stand before his indignation? All right, this devil is going to go he's going to go from speaking great words to being a quiet church mouse, whereas the Lord is going to have to even put in his spirit to fight him at his return. Who can abide in the fierceness of his anger? You know, it reminds me of let's just keep reading. It says, who can abide in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. The Lord is good and a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust in him. But with an overrunning flood, he will make an utter end of the places thereof. Those 200 million missiles, I would say that's an overrunning flood. You know, as in the days of Noah, as the Lord destroyed him with the overrunning flood, he opened up the heavens. So as in these days, he's going to open up the heavens and drop down fire, nuclear missiles. All right, and darkness shall pursue his enemies. And as is written in Job 18, all right, that the Most High shall he shall basically put the light out on the wicked. Meaning what? He's going to take this devil out of rulership. He's going to take his ideologies out. When the Lord comes back, all that is going to stop. So with that, shalom to the elect.